All right. Yeah. So basically, once I found out that the footage had been erased off the SD card, a friend reminded me that the SD cards are partitioned with a FAT32 partition, and that's a very standard Windows operating system file format. And once the file is erased off of that, it doesn't necessarily erase the entire file, it just erases the header to that file, and the file still remains on the digital media. And so an SD card is essentially no different than any other hard drive, they're just much smaller now. And then this was several years ago, so SD cards have expanded considerably more in size since then. And so we just looked around online to find what kind of free open source tools are available to run as recovery to pull the erased footage off of. And we found TestDisk and PhotoRec, which was put out by cgsecurity.org. And they're great free tools. Anyone can just download them and make use of them. And we'll go through the download and installation process here, so we can just show you how it works. You know, the average user can just start from their Windows machine, go to open a web browser and go to CG Security. This is just some crap because this is my malware box. cgsecurity.org, and you go to TestDisk. TestDisk is if you want to run the same recovery suite on a hard drive, and PhotoRec is if you want to run it on an SD card. So activists and journalists are going to be more interested in PhotoRec because this is more tailored towards the file formats of SD cards. So let's just download the latest Windows version of this.
So you don't have to pay anything just to use it?
Correct. It's a completely free and open source tool, and it's available to anyone because I believe they might sell other products, and this kind of just shows off their skills. And it's a real easy forensic recovery by number software suite. So we have it right here. And this is it.
That's the program?
This is the program right here. You basically just unzip it and double click photorecwin.exe, and it'll list out the types of, let's make this bigger, it'll list out the types of drives that are available. So right now it's detecting the different hard drive partitions in Windows, and if I were to connect the USB drive into there, it would list the thumb drive, or it would list the SD card. And the recovery is as simple as just clicking proceed and then clicking next, 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 next. And you go through that process, the progress bar will go through the screen, and the files will just dump right to the directory.
So you're like an SD card. Mm-hmm. Does it work through a USB hard drive camcorder? Does it work with all formats? And
yes, it will.
Is there some formats it doesn't work with?
Not that I believe it might be kind of finicky with the NTFS format, but that's what the TestDisk software suite is for. Basically, PhotoRec is more tailored towards recovery off SD cards, and it'll be able to handle most types of filmable multimedia by default. If it gives you a hard time, TestDisk will be able to do the recovery, but it's more of a manual, advanced process. But even the most novice user should be able to just run PhotoRec and click next several times and run it against their SD card. Which, if we click back, let's run it from the beginning. And there's really no reason to be intimidated by the fact it's a command prompt, because it really is just like you select which numbers you want to run. And you select which drives you want to run it on, and then it'll just start the recovery process. So as we see here, it shows the disk drive it's on, the D drive, and if I were to place an SD card in the slot, it would propagate that, and you just press enter, and then this shows NTFS, so that would be a bit finicky, but FAT32, which is the partition of most types of video cameras, it'll run right through it, and you just basically just keep clicking next until you see the progress bar go through, and then it'll dump the files right to the hard drive. It was, I didn't know, this is my introduction to forensics. I'd never done forensic recovery before. I just needed to find the simplest, quickest way to do it, and I think a lot of other activists will be able to replicate and benefit from the same thing.
How did you feel after you got the footage back?
Oh, I was quite relieved, and especially because like it takes a while to run the software, so you'll probably be sitting there for a good few hours while you wait for the recovery process to go through, especially if it's a larger type card. But it's a great feeling because it's like, haha, I got them. You've essentially recovered evidence because they're guilty of destroying evidence, and so now you've got evidence of the cops committing a crime. A link to the software is in the description below, and if you're interested in learning more about these types of things, you can come check out the Hack Miami conference taking place in May, where me and my friends from Miami get together, and we're going to be showcasing some of the stuff that is possible. And then they choked me, so I couldn't say anything, and they kept going through my flyers and paperwork to figure out who I was with, and they already knew I had been with federaljack.com.
I'm being illegally searched. Shut the fuck up! You're under fucking arrest. If you want the money, you fucking understand? Your money's back, dude. Is that federaljack.com? Internet fucking lawyers on the camera.